Cancer, if you have recently been feeling unusually emotional, if your intuition has been telling you that something is changing before you can actually see it, do not ignore that feeling. August 2026 is not going to be an ordinary month for you. It carries a powerful emotional and personal shift, one that may quietly change the way you see your relationships, your career, your finances, and even yourself. Something that has been hidden beneath the surface may finally come into the light. A message you have been waiting for could arrive. Someone from your past may unexpectedly return. A family matter could demand your attention. Or you may suddenly realize that a situation you have been trying to hold together for a long time is no longer meant to remain the same. At first, you may not understand why these things are happening at once. But as August unfolds, the connection becomes clearer. This month is not simply about what happens around you. It is about what happens inside you. If Cancer is your sun sign, you may feel a strong need to protect your emotional peace and create greater security in your life. And if Cancer is also your rising sign, these changes may become even more visible through your home life, appearance, relationships, career direction, and personal identity. So if this reading resonates with you, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Stay until the end because August carries an important message about your money, career, love life, family, emotional healing, and a decision that could change the direction of your future. The beginning of August may feel deeply reflective. You could find yourself remembering things you thought you had already moved beyond. Person, conversation, a disappointment, a dream, a moment when you made a decision that changed your life. These memories may return because there is something you still need to understand. Cancer, you have a remarkable emotional memory. You remember how people made you feel. You remember the tone of a conversation. You remember promises. You remember moments when someone stayed beside you. And you also remember moments when someone disappeared when you needed them most. But August is teaching you something important. You don't have to forget the past to move forward. You simply have to stop allowing the past to control your future. That distinction may become one of your biggest breakthroughs this month. You may finally look at an old situation and realize that you were not weak for caring. You were not foolish for trusting. You were not wrong for hoping. You simply learned. And what you learned is now becoming wisdom. Your career begins to show signs of movement as August progresses. If you have been working quietly without receiving enough recognition, things may begin changing. Someone could finally notice your dedication. A manager may give you a greater responsibility. A client may return with an interesting proposal. A former colleague could contact you with an opportunity. Or you may hear about a position that feels much more aligned with the future you want. The important thing is not to underestimate yourself. Cancer sometimes works harder than people realize because you do not always announce everything you are doing. You may quietly solve problems, support others, take responsibility, keep going even when you are exhausted. But August can make your invisible effort visible. People may begin realizing how much you actually contribute. If you are considering changing jobs, do not make the decision simply because you are emotionally tired. Look at the bigger picture. Where will this opportunity take you? Will it increase your income? Will it improve your quality of life? Will it help you grow? Will you have more stability? Will you be respected? These questions matter, because leaving one situation is not enough. You need to know what you are moving toward. For Cancer entrepreneurs, August can bring opportunities through partnerships, online platforms, family connections, or people you already know. Someone could introduce you to a person who becomes important for your professional future. A conversation that seems casual could eventually lead to a contract. A small idea could become a business. A hobby could become a source of income. Do not underestimate beginnings simply because they are small. A seed does not look like a tree, but it contains the possibility of one. Financially, August asks you to become more organized. There may be opportunities to increase your income, but there may also be unexpected expenses. Family responsibilities could require additional money. A home-related expense may appear. You may need to repair something, or you could find yourself spending more than expected on someone you care about. And this is where Cancer needs to be careful. Your generous heart can sometimes make financial decisions emotional. You may spend money because you feel responsible. You may help someone because you don't want them to struggle. You may say yes because saying no makes you feel guilty. But August is teaching you that helping others should not destroy your own stability. You can care about someone without becoming responsible for their entire life. That is not selfish. That is healthy. If you have been thinking about saving more money, August is an excellent month to create a realistic plan. Review your expenses. Organize your payments. Reduce unnecessary spending. And think about creating an additional income source. The second half of August may bring an unexpected financial idea. Perhaps you can monetize something you already know. Perhaps someone offers you freelance work. Perhaps an old payment arrives. Perhaps a project begins producing results. The opportunity may not look enormous at first, but consistency can turn a small stream into something meaningful. When it comes to love, Cancer, August becomes especially powerful. If you are in a relationship, you may crave emotional honesty more than ever. You don't want surface-level affection. You want to feel understood. You want to know that your partner listens. You want to feel safe enough to express your fears without being judged. And you may finally have a conversation that you have been postponing. This conversation could be emotional, but it could also be healing. You may discuss the future, commitment, trust, family, money, living arrangements, or something that has quietly bothered you for a long time. If the relationship is strong, this conversation can deepen the bond between you. But if there has been emotional distance, August may make that distance impossible to ignore. You may realize that you have been giving more emotionally than you have been receiving, and that realization could hurt. But sometimes clarity hurts before it heals. Cancer, you should never have to constantly wonder whether you are loved. You should not have to beg for basic communication. You should not have to shrink your emotions to make someone else comfortable. The right relationship does not require you to become less sensitive. It makes your sensitivity feel safe. If you are single, August can bring a fascinating romantic possibility. Someone may enter your life through family, friends, work, social media, travel, or a completely ordinary everyday situation. The connection may begin quietly. There may not be immediate fireworks. Instead, there may be comfort, a feeling that you can talk without pretending, a sense that you don't have to perform. And Cancer, that feeling may be more meaningful than instant attraction. You may also encounter someone who has emotional depth similar to your own, someone who understands silence, someone who notices small details, someone who remembers what you say. Someone who does not need constant drama to feel connected. Don't rush this connection. Let it develop naturally. Some of the strongest relationships begin as conversations that neither person expected to become important. There is also a possibility that someone from your past could return. If this happens, do not let nostalgia make the decision for you. Ask yourself, has this person actually changed? And then ask an even more important question. Have I changed? Because sometimes the person returning is not meant to become your future. They are simply there to show you how much you have grown. Your family life becomes especially important throughout August. You may become more involved in a family matter. Someone may need your support. You could spend more time at home. You may also feel a strong desire to improve your living environment. Rearranging your home, cleaning, decorating, repairing something, or simply creating a more peaceful space could have a surprisingly positive effect on your emotional state. For Cancer, home is not simply a physical place. It is where your nervous system learns whether it is safe to relax. So create an environment that gives you peace. Your social circle may also change. You could reconnect with an old friend. You may meet someone new through work or family. Or you may quietly distance yourself from people who constantly drain you. This is not necessarily about conflict. Sometimes people simply stop matching the person you are becoming. You don't have to hate someone to move away from them. You can appreciate what the relationship once meant and still understand that it has reached its natural ending. That is maturity. Psychologically, August brings one of your most important lessons of the year. You are learning that protecting your emotional energy is not selfish. For a long time, you may have carried other people's worries as though they were your own. You listened. You supported. You forgave. You understood. You gave second chances, sometimes even third and fourth chances. But how many chances have you given yourself? That question may stay with you, because August is asking you to stop abandoning yourself while trying to save everyone else. You cannot heal everyone. You cannot fix every relationship. You cannot make every person understand you. And you cannot control whether someone chooses to appreciate you. But you can choose yourself. You can protect your peace. You can walk away from unnecessary chaos. And you can stop feeling guilty for needing rest. Your physical energy may fluctuate throughout the month. There may be periods when you feel motivated and productive. Then suddenly your body may ask you to slow down. Listen to it. Your emotional state has a strong influence on your energy. When your mind is overwhelmed, your body feels it. Create small moments of calm. Walk near water if you can. Spend time outdoors. Listen to music. Write down your thoughts. Take quiet evenings without unnecessary conversations. Sleep properly. Sometimes healing begins with something as simple as allowing yourself to breathe. The first part of August may be about emotional clearing. You are understanding what needs to be released. The middle of the month can bring stronger activity in love, family, and communication. A conversation may reveal something important. The third week can bring developments in career and finances. A professional opportunity could become more concrete. An additional income source may appear. And toward the end of the month, you may feel a noticeable sense of emotional relief. The situation that seemed confusing earlier may finally make sense. Pay close attention to unexpected messages and conversations throughout August. Someone could tell you something that changes the way you see a situation. A family member may offer useful advice. A friend may introduce you to someone. A professional connection could lead to a new opportunity. The person who helps you may not be the person you expected. That is why staying open is important. There is also a strong intuitive quality around you this month. Your dreams may feel more vivid. Your first impressions may become stronger. You may suddenly think about someone shortly before they contact you. You may repeatedly encounter the same message or idea. Don't automatically assume every coincidence has a mystical meaning. But don't ignore your intuition either. Your emotions often notice things before your logical mind has finished processing them. Listen to the feeling. Then verify the facts. That is your best strategy. Cancer, August may also bring a difficult but necessary realization about control. You may have been trying to control an outcome because you were afraid of what would happen if you didn't. But sometimes holding too tightly creates more anxiety. Imagine holding sand in your hand. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Some things in life need to be held gently. Love, friendship, opportunity, even your own future. You can guide your life without trying to control every detail. And that is where peace begins. As the month progresses, you may also become more confident about setting boundaries. You may stop answering every message immediately. You may stop explaining every decision. You may stop apologizing for having needs. You may stop feeling responsible for everyone's happiness. And that could feel strange at first, but eventually it will feel freeing. There may be a moment later in August when you realize, I don't need to carry this anymore. That sentence could represent one of the biggest emotional breakthroughs of the month. You have carried enough. Now it is time to make space. Space for better relationships. Space for healthier opportunities. Space for money. Space for peace. Space for yourself. And Cancer, something unexpected may happen once you create that space. An opportunity can enter. A new person. Career possibility. A financial idea. A completely different vision of your future. Sometimes the universe cannot place something new into your hands because your hands are still holding on to something old. August may help you let go. As the final part of the month arrives, you may feel more emotionally grounded. You may not have every answer, but you will have a clearer sense of what matters. And that is enough. You may finally understand why certain relationships ended, why certain opportunities were delayed, why certain plans failed, why some doors remained closed. Not everything that disappeared from your life was a loss. Some things were protection. Some things were preparation. Some things were redirection. And August 2026 may finally show you the difference. Cancer, your future does not require you to become harder. It requires you to become wiser about where you place your softness. Your kindness is not weakness. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. Your intuition is not something you need to apologize for. But your heart deserves protection too. As August comes to an end, don't measure the month only by what you gained. Measure it by what you finally released. The fear. The guilt. The old expectation. The one-sided relationship. The financial habit. The version of yourself that believed you had to keep everyone happy. Because sometimes the greatest progress is not adding something new. Sometimes it is finally putting something down. And Cancer, if August gives you one important message, it is this. You are allowed to choose peace without explaining why. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to start again. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to leave situations that no longer feel right. And you are allowed to build a future that feels emotionally safe. So walk into August 2026 with an open heart, but not an unprotected one. Trust your intuition. Protect your energy. Pay attention to the unexpected. Do not chase what continually makes you doubt your worth. And when a new door appears, don't be so afraid of what you are leaving behind that you forget to look at what is waiting ahead. Because Cancer, this month may begin with uncertainty. It may continue with emotional questions, but it can end with something much more valuable. Clarity. And once you know what you truly want, the next chapter becomes much easier to write. August 2026 is not asking you to become someone new. It is asking you to finally return to the person you were before fear convinced you to become smaller.